What's up, YouTube? Missing a VGC here, and today I'm finally bringing you the fourth deck from the Kaijudo poll, Dark SaberKuth. Dark SaberKuth is a modernized version of Dark SaberBolt from the year of 2012 that became quite powerful and popular with the release of the pack Evo Fury. This is also the set right before we were introduced to cards like Andromeda and Bottle of Wishes. So I feel this was the last set before the game got pretty toxic. We're going to start things off with 3 copies of Prickleback. Prickleback is a 1 for 2000 Beastkin monster that whenever you break a shield at the end of the turn, if it breaks a shield at the end of the turn, it will return back to your hand. So it can avoid being attacked by your opponent's creatures on their turn. But it's still susceptible to things like bone blades and stuff like that to get removed from the shields. Next, we're playing 3 copies of Savage Spawn. Okay, so this card I really don't like, but I feel it's kind of necessary. What Savage Spawn does is whenever you attack with this creature, you and your opponent perform a clash. A clash is whenever you attack, both players reveal the top card of your decks, and you compare the mana cost at the top of the card. If it is a tie, or you have the higher number, you win the clash. That card goes to the bottom of the deck, and then you reveal or you resolve whatever effect you would do if you were to win the clash. For Savage Spawn, it is put the top card of your deck into your mana zone. So I really don't like this card because I think it's mostly because I hate the clash mechanic, because it is all revolved on luck. I would much rather play something like Razorhide over this if I could. You could probably justify playing Razorhide over Savage Spawn, but the issue with Razorhide is it takes like 1 additional turn to get that out into play. But if you're fine with waiting 1 turn for the guaranteed +1 mana every time you attack, you could probably play Razorhide. I might take this out for Razorhide. I'm just going to try and mess with it. But for now, it's okay. I really just don't like Savage Spawn. Next, we're playing 3 copies of Weaponized Razor Cat. Just a 2 for 4000 vanilla. Unlocks your red and your green. So it's a pretty good card. It's also a Beastkin, so you can evolve off of that as well. Next, though, we're playing 3 copies of Titan Caller. Titan Caller is another card that was never released into the card game because, unfortunately, the game died right before the release of Eye of the Storm. What Titan Caller does is whenever you play it, you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You take a creature that has 6,000 or power or more from among those cards, put the rest of the cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. It just helps you kind of dig for finding some of your late game cards or some of your evolution cards that could help further progress the game state. It's a pretty good card. It's also a Beastkin, so you can evolve off of it for stuff like Bronze Arm Sabertooth, which we'll be getting to shortly. Titan Caller is a pretty fun card, and I have another deck that uses Titan Caller that I would love to show you. It's more of a gimmick and like a meme deck, but it's pretty funny when it goes off. Hopefully I'll be able to show you guys that relatively soon. Next, we're playing 2 copies of Scare Adorable of Gloom Hollow. In all honesty, this card isn't supposed to be in the deck. Originally, I was playing 3 copies of Skull Shatter, but I cannot find a single copy of Skull Shatter out of all the thousands of cards that I have for some reason. So until I can find those, Scare Adorable of Gloom Hollow is coming in. But this card's already amazing. I've gone over about how amazing Scare Adorable of Gloom Hollow is in previous videos. So I'm not going to really go into much detail on this. It's just a little bit extra protection definitely doesn't hurt with this deck. Next, we play 3 copies of Mesmerize, because getting into your opponent's hand at the very beginning of the game and just ripping a card out of it is always really good, unless they have Iron Will Tree. Next, we're playing 2 copies of Gilaflame the Assaulter. I just think this card's funny. It's a fast attack that just goes right back to your hand at the end of the turn. It's really nice for just like picking up some shields. It's just a really annoying card, and I've always loved Gilaflame the Assaulter. Next, we're playing 2 copies of Charging Greatclaw. It is one of your 2 evolution creatures that we were playing in this deck. This one, however, can evolve off of any nature creature. Charging Great Claw also has the Unleash ability, so whenever you attack, you can detach the card underneath it to resolve its effect, and its Unleash effect is put the top card of your deck into your mana zone. So it's an early game evolution creature that gives you +1 mana and has Double Breaker. It's a pretty good card. I really like Charging Great Claw. Next, we play 3 copies of Bronze Arm Sabertooth. Bronze Arm Sabertooth is part of the heart and soul of the SaberBolt deck, hence the saber in the name. When this card was introduced in Evo Fury, it drastically increased the power of green, at least in my opinion. I didn't even touch green until this card came out, and I absolutely loved it. Evolves off of specifically Beastkin creatures, because this is in the day before when you could just evolve off of any color. It has Double Breaker, and whenever Bronze Arm Sabertooth were to die, it would go to your mana zone. But since you have a card underneath it, that card would also go to your mana. So if you die, you gain +2 mana, which is pretty good. Next, we're playing 3 copies of Bone Blades, because this deck is being played in an open format with house rules, and Bone Blades is the best early game removal, because there's just way too many good level 4 or lower creatures in this game. Next, we're playing 2 copies of Titsurion the Champion. You can thank this card for the deck taking like 6 months to come out, because I could not find more than 1 copy of this card out of all the cards that I have. But I was finally able to dig one out of my grandma's basement. This card, when you play it, will put the top card of your deck into the mana zone. And if it happens to be a fire creature, Titsurion the Champion will also gain 2,000 power and fast attack. So you have the potential to drop a 6 for 8,000 Double Breaker with fast attack the turn you play this card. If not, you at least got some mana, so there you go. Next, we're playing 3 copies of Moonhell Hunter. This is like a more cost-expensive, yet less versatile copy of War Chief Kyo. Like War Chief Kyo, it is a Shield Blast creature that will force a battle when it enters the battle zone. However, unlike War Chief Kyo, Moonhell Hunter has to be the one that attacks in the battle, which is not as cool. But it does have 1,000 more power than War Chief Kyo. So, I mean, there's that. You could probably make an argument to play War Chief Kyo over Moonhell Hunter, but it's a card I'd never actually seen anybody play, and I thought it was kind of interesting. So, we're going to keep going with that. Next, we play 3 copies of Terrapit. Originally, this was 2 copies, but the third Terrapit was originally going to be one of the 3rd copies of Skull Shatter, which, like I said, I can't find. So, more removal is always fun. Next, we play 3 copies of Kuth the Dervish. This is the card that replaced Bolt-tailed Dragon, and by every count, this card is the exact same as Bolt-tailed Dragon. It is the same race, it is the same civilization, same mana cost, same power, same fast attack, double breaker. It's even the same rarity. But this has the other additional effect of when you play it, it can also attack untapped blockers as well, which is a pretty good ability depending on what you're going up against. So just having that one extra line of text really just pushes this card far beyond what Bolt-tailed Dragon can do. So instead of it being SaberBolt, we now have SaberKuth. It's a really good card, and I really like it. And its artwork is really good too. Next, we play 1 copy of Shade Blaze the Corruptor. Excuse me. This card is really good, and I feel like I greatly underappreciated how good this card is previously. It's an 8 for 11,000 11,000 power armored dragon and Terror Dragon. Terror Dragon doesn't really matter. I don't know why I'm telling you this of the races and stuff. But as Double Breaker, when it enters the battle zone, you target a creature that has, you target a creature and it loses 2,000 power. You know, if it hits 0, it dies, like all of them. But it also has the ability Provoke, which is whenever a creature would be banished, all of your creatures then gain fast attack. So that's pretty cool. You could like drop a bunch of cards near the end of the game, swing over something, and while you have Shade Blaze out, all those creatures you just played now also have fast attack and keep hitting harder. So it's pretty good. And then the last word we play is Infernus the Awakened, because why not? Infernus was the cover card for Dragon Strike Infernus, one of the most broken sets in the game. 9 for 13,000, triple breaker. Whenever this creature enters the battle zone and whenever it attacks, you can banish a creature that has 4,000 power or less. And as long as it's on the field, your opponent can't summon anything with 4,000 or less power. So it kind of locks your opponent out of the game. It is possible to ramp up to this pretty early on. Probably not as fast as if you're just play pure dragons, which I need to profile at some point. But Infernus is pretty good. And I don't really feel you need to play more than one. You could. But I feel this is fine how it is. But yeah, this is Dark SaberKuth. Sorry it took so long for me to finally get this deck up. But I have some more decks set aside. I had put up another poll on the dojo a few days ago. But no one was really responding to it, and I took it down. But I took it to Reddit as well, and I got some comments there and some ideas. I also got some ideas from some friends. So the next two decks that will eventually be up, I'm not going to give a date this time because clearly I can't follow through with those, will be a 60-card pile deck that I like to call Ramp Control, and a light dark control deck that uses the card Alcadeus Vengeance Archon from Eye of the Storm. So look forward to those. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.